Hello and welcome to the first installment of Kami's Campfire, working title. Here we all sit in a circle, and for a few minutes you listen to me rant about random topics, talk about possible outcomes for stuff that we like, or just casually discuss whatever we feel like talking about. There's no rules in this realm. And you know what? Maybe we'll even get some guests on here. I mean, how hard is it to find friends? Oh yeah. So sit down, grab your cocoa, grab your marshmallows or your blankie, get comfy. Or maybe not, because the topic of today might upset a few fanboys. Today we are talking about the longevity of one of the most popular anime series to date, Dragon Ball Z. Or DBZ for short. I'm not saying the whole thing this entire video. Now it's no question as to why DBZ is one of the best-selling series to date. It has some of the coolest moments in anime history. Mostly Gohan moments. I don't know, I'm just biased. Now I'm not going to talk about this topic long, I know how Toei is, but DBZ has been a prominent figure in media since I was a kid. But see, that's the problem. It's been going on for decades and has had countless retcons and rehashed stories. The amount of recycled content that's been coming from this franchise's orifices on a consistent basis has been absurd. In the relatively short years I've been alive, there's been a handful of different spin-offs, a few dozen different movies, and a new movie on the horizon which I will not be watching in retaliation to totally not Mark's channel situation. Fuck 'em! And a gajillion f***ing video games, complete with the same story and shiny plastic models to boot. Raditz to Boo has been done to death. Every year, almost 3 to 5 times a year, it's the exact same storyline over and over and over and over and over again. It's gotten to the point where I don't even know how I feel about the series as a whole. Most of the content that's been produced for the franchise has been rehashed content that did not need to happen. It's a prime case of funky storytelling. I love Toriyama, one of the last living icons, but once you hear from the man himself, on the record say that he personally forgot one of the most iconic transformations in DBZ history for years, he thinks it's time to take a break. The longer the series goes on, the more time you have to focus on the inconsistencies. Like, why did Trunks have to come back from the future a second time? And why is his hair blue? You could argue that he's from a different timeline and maybe it's a different story, but then they do a flashback to when Trunks got killed by Cell and he had purple hair. And how long is fusion supposed to last? In the Buu saga, Gotenks' fusion ran out in about 5 minutes because there was too much power being released. But in the Broly movie, while Gogeta was Super Saiyan Blue, they last for half an hour, even have time to win the fight and revert back to normal. Furthermore, why aren't Saiyans by default the most powerful beings in existence? We've already established that this franchise has no consequences. You'd think once the Saiyans realize they get exponentially stronger every time they get hurt or come close to death, that they would just blast a hole in themselves and immediately heal back to full health like 20 times a day. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too hard about it. I mean, Bardock of all people was the brilliant scientist. Maybe Saiyans are just the meathead jocks of the universe. You see, the problem that I have with most household names is that they don't know when to stop. They milk whatever content they can because whatever it may be has such a placehold in media that they circulate it constantly to keep the money flowing, even if it risks destroying the original outlook the media had on these characters. It's kind of what's been happening to Will Smith in light of recent events. A lot of people have been getting tired of seeing the Fresh Prince and She Who Shall Not Be Named because every time they do, it really puts a damper on their legacies. Me personally, I've been tired of seeing Will Smith in media since back in 2018 because he doesn't need to be in every single movie. And Will Smith is like the DBZ of actors. Good on their own, but have bad effects when their name is on dispassionate work. Now, none of this is to say I've completely given up on the franchise. I can actually say I like some of the new concept DBZ's come out with in the past few years. I actually like Super Saiyan God's form. Now, I think the whole Saiyan Kumbaya gathering was a bit contrived because the original Saiyan race were basically all barbarians. But they retconned this in Super's Broly movie and now they're basically space Russia, so I guess I can't be mad, even though that movie came out way later, but whatever, don't think about that. And the Broly Super movie is genuinely the best thing to come out of this franchise in probably the last decade. I like that ever since Xenoverse came out, they've been trying to take different approaches and give characters who were originally hollow development. I mean, there were a few times in the Budokai series where you could do something different and you could change the story up slightly, but Xenoverse was the first thing to really try and do something different. It just sucks that it took so long. Honestly, and I've had this idea for a few years now, I think DBZ should just stick to movies only. The Tournament of Power arc from the anime could have been one big movie. I think it would have worked better that way. I mean, if they don't want to strictly stick to movies, another thought that I've been having recently is I really wish DBZ experimented more and picked up on the What If series that Marvel's been implementing. I don't think I'm the only one who'd like to see different timelines in the Dragon Ball cinematic universe. Whatever. Show me a short compilation of Goku and Vegeta trading places, and Vegeta was the one that was sent to Earth as a baby, and Goku was the one being controlled by Napoleon Space Hitler, you know? Matter of fact, show me a reality where Frieza doesn't decide to destroy planet Vegeta, and Vegeta and Goku grow up on their home planet. You know, let me see a Black Panther version of DBZ. Okay, I've compared DBZ to Marvel twice in this video now, I'm sorry. But the franchise has become too popular for its own good. It's exhausting. Between the merchandising and the brand deals and the die-hard fans who are willing to keep giving this franchise another chance, it keeps a lot of people's lights on. And I think the biggest problem between the people who grew up with the franchise and the people who keep releasing new material for it face is that it's too hard to let something you love go. I don't want DBZ to end up like Family Guy, an obvious cash cow that they have to milk to the bone, even though it feels like it's well on its way. I don't want to end up hating the franchise that got me into anime in the first place, but I promise you, for the sake of the legacy, sometimes it's okay to let things thin out and eventually let things end before it's too late.